What is going on, Governor Chisgule here, and today we're going to review Stage 2 of the Eve of the Crusade event, and we're going to help you prepare and get tons of points, even as a free-to-play. If you like Rise of Kingdoms videos, where we help you smash Kingdom versus Kingdom, you should like and subscribe. Check out our Kingdom versus Kingdom playlists, and we are a sponsored creator with Rise of Kingdoms. Stage 2 of the Eve of the Crusade is all about training troops. You get points for training and upgrading your troops. For each Tier 1, you get 1 point. For Tier 2, 2 points. Tier 3, 4 points. Tier 4, 8 points. That's a nice jump. And Tier 5, a solid 20 points. Woo! So T5 need to be training like crazy on the Eve of the Crusade. We're currently in Kingdom 53, showing off the rewards, because their Kingdom versus Kingdom is a few days ahead of where we are in our KVK. That's why you can get this little preview of what's coming. There are rewards for training to different tiers of this event. However, you may be wondering, Chisgule, I don't have tons of speed-ups to use. How can I make a meaningful contribution to this event, which is going to be dominated by people spending big money? And we can even see, if we look at the rankings here, I would imagine that the higher scoring players in this list right now are the ones that are doing tons of training. Why is that? If we jump over to our kingdom's individual rankings for the pre-KVK events, you're going to see that at most people are going to have like 2 million points from running around in Stage 1, and people are pulling down, what, 20 million points here? That's coming from troop training. So here's how you can have the impact. Let's jump back over to my main account to show you exactly what tactic you can use. All right, we're back on our main, and we can show you now, if we go to the Eve of the Crusade and we look at the individual ranks. Okay, somebody's got 3 million points of running around, smashing barbarians. Maybe they'll get up to 4 or 5 million. That's pretty impressive. That's actually a lot of marauder killing. That is fairly remarkable. But you can see just how important the training portion will be as a percentage of the overall contribution. Now, I mentioned, as a free-to-play player, you too can make a big contribution. Here is one way. There is an item called a reserve. A reserve looks like those items up at the top, these boosts. There's a 1,000, a 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, and 20,000 boost. When you use one of these boosts, your next training, you can do that many more troops as a part of the training. So for instance, when I use a 20,000 reserve and I have a max level training facility, I can train 22,000 troops at a time. And that is what I had done with each of these troop training buildings in my city. And I did that a couple days ago, actually, just after the Mighty Governor training portion had sort of happened. I took advantage of the kingdom buff we had then and the Duke title, and boom, popped up the extra troop training. Now, this is powerful because you can use these reserves to train troops so that they all finish during the troop training portion of the Eve of Crusade events. And that's going to get you a bunch of points without having to use a lot of speed ups if you time that really well. And that's what these different tiers of reserves can be really helpful for. The other thing you can do is you can use your speed ups to just make sure that they finish on time within the window of the Eve of the Crusade Stage 2. So for instance, I've got these siege units here. They're T5 siege units. I actually do want them to finish during the Eve of the Crusade. And so what I can do is I can use my speed ups on this now, and I'm sure many kingdoms are looking at some similar events to what we have at this moment in time. We happen to have a from the ground up event that rewards building or training speed ups. Well, guess what? We can rock training speed ups now, and we've already done some non-small amount of this, to take those armies we'd extended by 20k for training, make sure they end in the right time frame for stage 2 of Eve of the Crusade, and we're getting points in this event. So we're right now in 19th place. We got there by virtue of speeding up 3 20x extenders to finish during the Eve of the Crusade window. And you can see here, if I hit info, not info actually, wrong button. If I hit the training button, you can see we've got 22,000 of these cooking up. I can head over here and I can speed up some of these siege units a little bit. I'm going to get credit for my event for speeding these things up. And this will just show you kind of what it looks like to align the timing with the end of the event. I'm actually going to use some larger denominations of speed ups just to save myself some time. You don't want to tap the button to the left of where I'm tapping now. That would use enough speed ups to basically finish this thing off. We want to be really careful to just sort of time it so that, okay, that's going to end in the right time horizon. And we can look back over at the events. Bada boom. We are now in 12th, which is a little bit safer of a position for getting a few sculptures. And honestly, that's not an event we're really optimizing for right now. So that is how I would recommend that you kind of optimize for the Eve of the Crusade stage 2. All right, so we jump back to Kingdom 53 to look at one other thing you could do to kind of optimize here, which is that the second rule listed here is that upgrading units will award points equivalent to the difference between the point rewards for each tier. So, upgrading from T4 to T5 is actually a very speed up efficient way of getting a lot of points. It is very likely I will go ham, training troops and upgrading the T4 troops that I have to T5, and then I'll just train new T4 troops later. I do get the sense that having some amount of T4 troops is valuable-ish for open field fighting because your repair bills will be way, way lower, but then you're less punchy. I don't know. I've got kind of mixed feelings on what you should be using in the open field. However, I do like scoring lots of points, so this seems like a really good time to upgrade those. I'll call out that using a reserve to upgrade your troops is not a good idea because you get a lot less value for the reserve. You should do that for training new troops of the highest tier you can train, generally. And if you do have troops that are lower tier, especially if they're lower tier than T4, this event is a really gosh darn good time to upgrade from one tier to the next to get to the highest tier available to you and use a bunch of those speed ups. I'd be sort of curious. I mean, you glanced at my speed ups. I got a lot of them. How many points do you think we're going to pull down in stage 2 Eve of the Crusade? I guess we'll see. We've not really been going hard on stage 1 in our main. We did a video on stage 1 yesterday. Card will be up in the top. We've been just sort of casually running around, smashing some barbarians for stage 1, and I should be more specific, more precise, marauders, right? We've been killing marauders in stage 1 on our mini. That's where we've been just spending down tons of action points to benefit the kingdom. Number of reasons why we were doing that. We reviewed that in yesterday's video. I won't go over all of that. You should check out that video. What I will do instead is show you the 51 kingdom supply chests that we have here, and we can just rip some of these open. 3-hour speed up. Boom! 3-day speed up. This is from stage 1 of the Eve of the Crusade events. Pretty cool. You can see what these have roughly in them. And now that we've got 45 of these left, let's just hit the max button and open all 45 of these. Bada boom. Some gems, some gold, a couple 3-day speed ups, which is pretty solid. Some 8-hour speed ups, some 24-hour speed ups, even some dazzling starlight sculptures. I mean, I think these rewards are awesome on top of smashing some marauders, which hopefully you're doing because you want experience on those commanders anyways, and because it is gosh darn good for your kingdom. So we're ranked 600 something on our mini, not bad for a mini, but people are pretty competitive in this, which is pretty fun to watch. If you have enjoyed this video, my friends, please do like and subscribe. Let me know down below if you've got any hacks for the training portion, stage 2 of the Eve of the Crusade event. If you are going ham during the Eve of the Crusade, I guess I should say, like, stage 2 is just like Mighty Governor training. All the things that are good for Mighty Governor training are good here. Get a rune, get the Duke title, right? Like, make sure the Kingdom buff is active, and go completely ham. Completely ham. Because I will say that the rewards for the Kingdom are not trivial. Getting the extra percentage of damage is pretty reasonable. You can get 3% for rank 1 in the Lost Kingdom Eve of the Crusade event. 3% extra damage is pretty solid. Pretty gosh darn solid to have for all troop types. I think it's a pretty good pickup. Anyways, like and subscribe, and until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.